How's it going, guys? Once again here answering questions, and today we're talking about a very popular intermittent fasting.
3, 2, 1, stop!
As always, if you like the video, click the like button. If you learned something from it, share it with someone so they can learn something too. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. That said, let's get into it. So to keep it short, intermittent fasting is not really a diet. It's just more like a protocol of eating where you're actually fasting for most of the day and then you have a short eating window where you have all your food of the day. So you can do like 16-8, which is like fasting 16 hours and eating 8 hours, or 24, which is 20 hours of fasting and 4 hours of eating. So to give an example, let's say you have your last meal at 10 p.m. You're gonna go to bed, you're gonna sleep, and you're not gonna eat anything until the next day at 2 p.m. So that was a 16-hour fast. And then you're eating from 2 p.m. until 10 p.m. for example, that's 8 hours. And then once again from 10 p.m. until the next day 2 p.m. you're not gonna eat anything. Now, is it good? Is it bad? First of all, this channel is not about opinions. I need to keep the focus on what the research says. So the first thing people get worried about, like, oh, you're not gonna eat anything in the morning, you're gonna skip breakfast, you're gonna skip lunch, like, is that not bad for you? And the answer to that is no. There's no reason to suggest that that's gonna be bad for your health in any way. And there's actually a lot of research being done now to look at the benefits of doing intermittent fasting. I actually think we'll probably find out that it is actually good for us, but I need to be very, very clear. The research is just not there yet. So anyone that says that intermittent fasting is good for your health is just speculation so far. Now, when it comes to fat loss, intermittent fasting is very famous. Fat loss, is it good? Is it bad for fat loss? The answer is kind of. First of all, we need to remember calories matter above anything else. So if you eat the same amount of calories, actually, there's no eating more meals will speed up your metabolism. So if you eat 7 times a day, you're gonna burn a whole bunch of energy and you're gonna lose weight. Nah, it doesn't really happen like that. So when we compare groups that are eating like 1 meal a day or 10 meals a day, if the calories are the same, they actually lose the same amount of weight. Now, weight is not fat, so the proportion between fat and muscle that we lose is actually quite different. I'll get to that in a second, but there is some research to support that for the most part, intermittent fasting makes people eat less. So think about it, if you skip a whole meal or 2 meals or 3 meals, to really get the same amount of calories in 1 or 2 meals is gonna be very hard. And although it's very individual, some people do well, some people don't do so well with it, it is true that if you feel better and if you end up eating less with intermittent fasting, it's not necessarily a bad approach, but as I said, it's very individual. Now, when it comes to muscle building and actually retaining muscle, which was what I was talking about, that's when it starts to fall apart. There's quite a bit of research from Lane Orn and Stu Phillips and a whole bunch of those guys that looks at mechanisms for protein storage. And the fact is, we can't really store protein. What that means is if you eat, let's say 30 to 40 grams of protein, you're gonna absorb all of it, but actually if you don't use that protein, you're not gonna store it to use it later. So instead what we do is transform that protein or the amino acids into glucose and just use it for energy, which is kind of wasting it. The process is called gluconeogenesis, and literally if you're eating 80 grams of protein per meal, it's not like you're not gonna absorb the 80 grams, but you're gonna absorb, but then there's only so much you can use for actual like muscle building. And at the same time, if we're just wasting that protein and we're not eating for a whole bunch of time, fasting is actually really, really bad for retaining muscle. A lot of people will say that,
oh, fasting increases growth hormone.
First of all, growth hormone does not turn into muscle gain. It does increase lean body mass, which can be water, it can be ligaments, it can be tendons, it can be bones, anything. But actually, even when we kind of really inject like large amounts of exogenous growth hormone, still there's not much muscle growth. So to suggest that like a physiological increase during the fasting is gonna help you prevent muscle loss, there's absolutely no evidence to suggest that. So to conclude this, if you wanna lose fat and you wanna lose weight, intermittent fasting can help you because you're gonna be eating less meals. That might lead you to eat less overall, but there's no inherent benefit. It's not gonna make you burn more fat or more energy or lose more weight. And when it comes to retaining muscle while you're dieting or actually building muscle, eat between 3 to 5 meals a day and make sure all of those meals have protein. 20 to 30 grams of protein each meal and you're gonna be just fine. And that's pretty much it. Any questions? Let me know. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next video.